Welcome back. Welcome back. Mastermind Wisdom. Mastermind Wisdom for Winners. We want to welcome everybody back to Mastermind Wisdom for Winners. Mastermind Wisdom for Winners is where knowledge isn't just activated. Each episode delivers insight that challenges how you think, pushes how you grow, and sharpens how you move through life. So if you're ready to level up strategically, personally, and mentally, let's get started with episode 2 with our own Mrs. Rickale West, Roxy, as we call her. Bring her in, Miss Rickale. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. We're starting episode 2. We left off from episode 1 where your background and your history and a little bit about our own thing we can relate to, which is Dallas, Texas. And then you ask yourself, you're in Houston, because we're in Houston doing the podcast. We want to talk about the transition from the Dallas to Houston area. Well, Raquel, one of the things I was reading up on, and of course I was just doing a little bit of focus on you specifically, it said Raquel blends artistry, advocacy, using her practice to explore themes of identity, emotion, and reliance, and healing. Obviously, your training from your schooling prepares you for what you're doing now. And apparently for me, just on my viewpoint, I want you to expound on it, seemed like you blended your God-given gift with your training that you were able to get to.
Yeah, I noticed at some point that all the things had merged together with my natural love for the arts, my studies in, child and family development and psychology, and just my overall advocacy for mental wellness. However you need to get it. It doesn't necessarily have to be therapy, but get some type of, mental health support. It all kind of has blended in together.
That's unusual, because obviously when people have a training in one area, they seem to kind of navigate that one area.
I can tell you how that somewhat blended, how that made its way together was how I started my art practice. My art practice for me started as a tool for my own mental wellness. So it wasn't something that I initially intended to share. It was something that I was using as my own management plan.
Wow.
And when I got to a certain point, I was like, okay, well, I can't hoard this. It's time to, it's time to take this out.
Yes.
I have gotten invitations to show my work, and I'll talk myself out of it because where I was mentally, I was not prepared, right? So I always believe that your work and your brand is only going to grow as much as you heal.
Right.
And so as I was healing with my work, I started to become more comfortable with bringing, and so what I originally created, what I founded was that art as a tool for mental wellness. And so it just took me a matter of time of being able to spell it out on paper and speak to it.
Speak to it. Well, that development, obviously from our episode 1, you're going into school, you've been in the band, art was a love that you had in what we call the visual arts section as opposed to musical art. And then you made a transition from Dallas to Houston. Share that transition with us.
So when I was trying to figure out what college I wanted to go to, because I knew I wanted to go to college, my mom wasn't a stickler for higher education, but she did enforce that we had to do something.
Okay.
Post high school, she was like, whatever, you need to get a trade, you need to go to school, you need to figure out what you're gonna do. what you gonna do?
Right.
Because if you let too much grass grow, you'll end up stuck. You'll lose your momentum. You will be lost.
Okay.
And I believe in that.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to continue to play music. I wanted to continue to march in the band. Most of the kids in my school, they kind of fed into like Prairie View. That was just kind of like our big brother of marching bands when it came to that. And I was looking at Prairie View, but then I saw Texas Southern's '09 Honda show. I'm gonna tell you what brought me to Houston.
Okay.
We were in practice one day. We were still in high school, and they showed us the footage from TSU's '09 Honda show. I went and I did my application the next day for TSU.
Because of that?
Because of that performance.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm marching for the ocean. I don't care what no
Ocean of soul.
And I had applied to, commerce, and I had applied to, different universities, and I hadn't even applied to TSU. But I saw their Honda performance. I was like, I'm marching for the ocean. I don't care. And I did. I marched. They came. They did auditions. The directors at the time, they came down. They done auditions. I went ahead and I did my audition, did my application, and I got the letter. I got into TSU. I was like,
Got
oh,
your
I'm
son.
going to Houston.
You going to Houston?
Going to Houston. Looks like we're going to Houston, guys. And so
Great.
that is how I ended up in Houston. And I wasn't sure that I was going to stay. You know, a lot of people, if they go to school out of town, they get their degree and they
Sure.
go back home.
Right.
I wasn't pulled to go back to Dallas. I didn't feel called to go back to Dallas because I didn't finish my degree in the traditional 4 years time. I had taken a break.
Right.
You know, was navigating life as a very young adult.
Yeah, sure.
And then by the time I finished my degree, I was in the company, in the career field that I wanted. I kind of had it, like, again, going back to high school, having given me an advantage. Before I finished college, I was already in manager,
industry, what you're doing,
manager
right.
position within the industry. And so I was like, well, I'm here, you know? So by the time I finished my degree, I was in the career field that I wanted to be in. I was living on my own. I was independent. And so I was like, okay,
Right.
I'm in Houston.
Right. You had made your contacts in Houston.
And not even really, not nearly the contacts that I have now. In my company, I was growing. I was so young.
Okay.
So I think I was 24, 25
Okay.
in that area. So
Yeah.
that's still very young.
But then in that position that you had.
But I was in a very
Right.
advanced position
That's
for
what I
that
figured.
age. Because I had regional managers asking me, "How did you get in a leadership position?" And because the company that I was with, they had a succession planning track
Right.
that they insisted that anybody wanting to seek leadership follow. I skipped 3 steps of the succession
Right.
planning to get into a position that was lateral to center directors.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, who's this kid?
Yeah.
Essentially, who's this kid?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had a motto. I was like, and its motto, it goes everywhere with me. Make them need you, make them know you, make them remember you.
Ah,
And
repeat that
tell
one
people,
more
make 'em
time.
Need you, make them know you, make them remember you. And I tell people, I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything to stand still.
Okay.
I am, and this is just my core. I believe in self-actualization.
Sure.
I believe in growth. So anything you're gonna be doing, do it to the fullest and seek growth within it.
That's great.
So if you choose something, seek growth within that thing.
Growth
Never
within
become.
the-
I never become
Remember
complacent.
that, ladies and gentlemen. That's very, very important. And that is a trajectory that can change your life.
Oh, yeah.
If you just adapt that type of philosophy and move forward with it. I can say in my own respect that amplified how we met. Because
Oh,
when
yeah.
we were out and about, we were doing our own thing, and then I came over to you. You made an impact on me. We saw the camaraderie
Oh, yeah,
there,
oh, yeah.
and then having that one person that pulled us all together to
Yeah.
do that. And then I was able to follow up with you, and I've been following you ever since. I said, this girl is rocking. She's staying busy. She's making an impact. And based on what you just said, I can see wherever you were going, that philosophy was making that change and making that impact in your life. So you're here in Houston. You didn't quite finish at the time, but you were doing things in the Houston area. So once you got back or finished up, what made you stay in Houston?
I had already established life here. By the time I graduated, I was engaged for my first marriage. I've been married and divorced twice.
Okay.
I was engaged. I had foundation.
Yeah.
You know, I had friends. I had career. So, I mean, Houston had become home essentially.
Right. I know the feel. Trust me, I know the feeling. I'm having those. Yeah. And then I asked myself.
Somebody asked me the other day. They were like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Dallas." They were like, "How long you been here?" They were like, "You from Houston?" I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Well, my wife keeps telling me, "Hey, you live here, you are from here."
know.
And then everybody, "Are you a Cowboys
people
fan?"
don't understand.
Nah.
Being from Dallas,
Right. It's a different
it's
thing.
different feeling. You can't call any place home. You can't call any other place home. But that Houston had become. I can definitely say that Houston has home for me.
Well, it's been and I'm using me as the best example, my biggest growth spur in my life.
Oh yeah.
Because of what we have and the environment and being in Houston right now with the culture and I'm right where we need to be.
I give it to Houston. I don't think that I would have grown as much as I have, even in just like my artistry and learning what I've learned if it weren't for being in a place as big as Houston.
Yeah.
You know, trying to find out where you fit in
Right.
this massive melting pot of art
Absolutely.
and culture and all those things. It's like Houston is, I tip my hat big time to Houston because I essentially spent my entire adult life here.
Right.
Because I got here when I was 18.
Okay.
My birthday's next month.
Oh.
30-something.
Yeah, I got you. Well, happy early birthday
Thank
in that respect right there. So now, you're in Houston, you've been in your profession. Where does the art come in?
Oh.
Give us that story on the transition to...
The art comes in. I was in the process of my first divorce.
Got you.
And I didn't know it was depression. I didn't know it was anxiety.
We don't.
We never know.
Right.
We just trying to survive each day.
Exactly.
And I was trying to redecorate my place where I was living at the time. And because, all these life changes, I'm like, let me redecorate, make myself feel better.
Yeah.
And I had this idea for a painting or something that I wanted to see on the wall, and I'm scouring the internet trying to find this thing.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found. So I'm like, I'll make it myself.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you have the talent. You have the
I
effort.
didn't know that I had the talent at the time. I just wanted to create something that I wanted to see on my wall.
Right.
And so I did my little janky sketch. I went and gathered all the art supplies, and I made it, and I still have that painting, and it looks terrible compared to all my work now.
Okay. But it's your work, and
mine,
there
and
you
it
are.
was the OG, it was my first time
You never want to
paintbrush
get rid of that.
to canvas, and so I keep that painting close.
Wow.
So I made, and it's like a triptych, so it's across like the 3 different canvases, and I was like, I want this to go with my new vision for my room, and I had leftover art supplies after I did that.
Right.
So I started, just kind of playing around with it. Late at night, when you're having insomnia, can't sleep, dealing with the depression that you don't know is depression at the time, because I hadn't started my therapy journey yet.
Exactly.
And so it was just the healing and soothing of just painting. Sometimes with no direction, painting a canvas and I talked about this recently where I took a canvas and I just painted it red.
Okay.
And I wrote all these words, and they were so down and dark and negative, and they were what I was feeling though.
Right.
And then I came back a little while later and I wrote the word in a different color. I wrote love across all of these words.
Wow.
And so that painting, it sold a couple years ago, the original, but it's called Love Conquers All.
Right.
And essentially the idea is like when you're in that darkness of your own mind, sometimes if you can find just a little ounce of love for yourself to keep going, it can really, because love is one of the highest frequencies, so it can really turn you around.
Wow.
Yeah, it can turn you around. So that was how my shift into arts began, just trying to heal myself, trying to survive each day. And then at the time I had found a therapist, and I told her, I was like, I think I want to pursue art more seriously. I want to pursue it professionally. And she asked me, she was like, are you sure? Because she's like, the art world is not easy to crack into. It's not. And so it's like, you already over here sad. What you gonna do when somebody tell you no? We don't like your art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
So it's like, you make sure, because it takes a lot of mental strength to believe that you've created something of value and of impact, and somebody to tell you, I don't want it. Right. So it was a journey, and I didn't understand what she meant until I understood what she meant. When I'm somewhere getting them rejection emails, I'm like, it's okay.
Well, wait a minute. Did you not ever hear of the starving artist concept?
It's like I heard about it, but I live to be the exception to a rule.
Okay.
I'm like,
not me. Yes, ma'am. Well, art is a God-given gift, as I say.
Amen.
And you telling us that you use it as a therapy tool is really the core of what really art is all about. And utilizing that, even if you're not, and I think you would share with it, even if you're not a considered artist, that therapy in itself is so revealing and so cleansing that once you've done it, and whether you like it or not, that's why I think the sip and paint places.
And speaking of, I was gonna speak to that. I do workshops. It's called a Healing Through Art workshop. And I don't label it as a sip and paint because the objective is for people to just come in as they are.
Right.
I give them a blank canvas, and whatever their discoveries are, I always tell them, leave it on the canvas, right? And a lot of times I heard people say, well, I'm not an artist.
Right,
I don't know what to put.
Right.
And I'm like, and I tell them, you don't have to be
put,
an artist.
no.
You just have to be open.
That's
it.
That's the future, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you're doing right there. And I think that opens up that conversation that we was going to talk about, and I'm going to make sure I have my notes correctly. But your Roxy was here art. Is that part of?
So Roxy,
Talk to me
first of
about
all, Roxy is my nickname. Roxy was a given nickname my grandmother gave me at birth.
Really?
Yeah. So that I've been Roxy all my life.
Okay. If anybody that knows you and they call you Roxy, you know they go back.
Believe it or not, because so Roxy, it's funny. I branded my nickname, but I did not allow people to call me Roxy unless they were very close friends or family.
Right.
And so one day I tagged one of my paintings, Roxy Was Here. Because prior to that, I used to always leave sticky notes on my colleagues' desks. Roxy was here, or I would just write it anywhere I would go. And one day I put it on one of my paintings. And a good friend of mine, she's also an artist, Jocelyn, she messaged me, she was like, I love the tag. And I'm like,
like, ding, 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 ding. Light bulb.
And I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. And so from then on, all of my work is tagged Roxy Was Here.
Right.
And then I trademarked it, so Roxy Was Here is actually a legal identifier of Rickale.
Excellent. Glad
and so, and then when I was start trying to figure out what brand looked like for myself, I was trying to get like a logo. This was many years ago.
Sure.
And the guy, he's like, well, he asked me some business question I didn't know the answer to, and I'm like, oh. And it just all of these things sparking ideas. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's a business.
Yes.
So I registered at Roxy Was Here Art LLC.
LLC.
Right. And it just kind of grew from there, trying to find brand identity, whereas like I merge in my, art as a tool for mental wellness, positive self-perception, lived or observed life experiences. That's what the work illustrates.
Excellent.
And so, that's the brand. Roxy Was Here Art.
Roxy Was Here Art. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to get involved with this, and we want to support, because support is such a big, important aspect of our business and our collective. So we want to kind of close with that in mind, because we always like to leave you with a teaser for our next episode, episode 3. Not only the Roxy, Was Here Art, but what she's doing now, how you can get in contact with her, how you can collaborate, and then not only that, but support. So with that in mind, we're going to close with episode 2, and we'll bring you on to episode 3, or how you can make contact with so we want to bring you along, and thank you again. Looking forward to our episode 3.